Hello, I'm Gary, and welcome to Physical Format Rock and Roll, where we talk about all things rock and roll and classic metal. This is another episode of New Album Review. Today, we're going to go down a little bit different track, and it's a new album, fairly new. It's been out for a little while now, but it is by the Monkees. So there's not any new music per se, but it's a new live album. And this is called The Mike and Mickey Show. And with Davy Jones already being gone and Peter Tork had passed away, I think it kind of inspired Michael Nesmith to get back with Mickey Dolenz and go ahead and do some shows. He originally didn't want to call it the Monkees, but they called it the Monkees Present the Mike and Mickey Show. Evidently, those two had kind of come up with that name back when they did the old Monkees show back in the 60s, when the two of them would do some stuff together. And I guess they've always gotten along pretty well. Michael Nesmith has been kind of notorious over the years for not wanting to do a whole lot under the banner of the Monkees as far as touring goes. And the other members they've gotten together more often than they have with Mike. He has occasionally done some things here or there. But he decided to go ahead. Last year, the two of them got together and did a relatively small tour. It wasn't that many shows. I was actually lucky enough to go to one of the shows. Yes, I know normally, I'm reviewing a lot of hard rock stuff and everything, but with the Monkees, I have always liked the Monkees, ever since I can remember, really. It's probably one of the first musical memories I have is as a very small child watching the syndicated version already of the Monkees. It was already off the air. But they used to show it on Saturday mornings. I can remember when I was really, really young. I barely remember it, but some of those songs stick in your head. I had an older sister who had a 45 or whatever. And so, I always kind of liked those songs. And as I got older, I dug into some of the other material of the Monkees, some of the deeper cuts. They actually did become a band and start to write their own material and play their own instruments and everything. And they put out a lot of good 60s style rock and roll. A lot of it, actually, because of Michael Nesmith, had a bit of a country rock feel to it, because that's kind of his forte. And he was one of the main songwriters out of those four. So a lot of those songs had that kind of feeling. There's actually a lot of good material back there, I think, if you're into that 60s, mid-60s style music. So anyway, on to review the album, right? What I really like about this album, like I said, it's a live album, is the fact that it sounds like a live album. It's a pretty good document of this tour because it doesn't sound like it has a lot of touch-ups on it. Both Mickey and Michael, at this point, they're in their 70s, and their voices are not quite as strong as they used to be at one point, but I think really for their age, they sound pretty good. Especially Michael, his voice hasn't really changed that much. Mickey's is a little bit weaker, but he still has that definite Mickey Dolenz voice, and he still sounds pretty good. They split up a lot of the songs as far as who's singing what, and they've got songs where they both sing lead vocals on it. And it's going to have your hits on here. Maybe not quite as many as the casual Monkee fan would like, but it does have a lot of the hits. But the great thing is if you're a fan of the Monkees, where you like some of the deeper cuts, you took their music a little more seriously or whatever, I recommend this album for you. If you're just, I'm a Believer and Pleasant Valley Sunday, this might not be the one for you. For one thing, it's a double album, which is great. Here's what the inside of it looks like. It shows you the backing band. They had a really good backing band with them. I don't know how well you can see that. But anyway, Michael's brother Christian is in this band, by the way, and he actually mixed this album too. So, and it sounds pretty good. Like I said, a good live documentation of it. No fooling around with it. I will say one of the things I was not happy with, the fact that it's a double album like this. I was kind of hoping for some more goodies in this record. I was kind of disappointed with the presentation. The only thing it really had with it was this one little letter type thing that Mickey Dolenz had wrote on here, which, you know, I mean, that's kind of neat. But, you know, I would have liked maybe some other pictures, the booklet that came along with it would have been really nice, or a little poster or something like that. You know, that would have been a lot cooler. So, you know, it's not no bells and whistles with this, but there is a lot of good music, like I said. Some of the other songs, I'm not going to read you the main hits. You know those are on there, okay? But here's some of the other songs that are on here that maybe you might not expect. Sunny Girlfriend, You Told Me, For Pete's Sake, well, you might expect that one. The Door into Summer, You Just May Be the One, that's a really good song. That's a good Michael Nesmith song. I've always liked that one. Birth of an Accidental Hipster, which is off their Good Times album that they put out there a few years ago. St. Matthew, As We Go Along. Circle Sky is on here. Some of you people who are into the Monkees might recognize that song. I think that was in the soundtrack to Head, if I remember right. I've always liked that song. That's a good one. That's on here. Randy Scouse Get is on here, which is a song that Mickey Dolenz wrote back in the day. That's a really good one. Me and Magdalena is on here. I've always liked that one. Going Down is on here. Auntie's Municipal Court is on here too. So there's a lot of nice little deep cuts on here for the fan that is into that kind of stuff. And maybe if you are just a casual fan, this is a good way to get into some of their other material and then go back and buy some of those records, the later records that they put out that were not the greatest hits. Like I said, a little bit different than some of the things we talk about or review here, but like I say, all things rock and roll. And this is rock and roll. This is part of it. So, Monkees Live present the Mike and Mickey Show. Another good one. I recommend it. This has been another episode of Physical Format Rock and Roll album review. And as always, I would appreciate any comments that anybody would like to leave. And if you would like to subscribe to this channel, that would be great. My name is Gary, and we'll see you soon.